Welcome back to the George's Live podcast, the official podcast of George's Majestic Lounge, a music venue located in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I am your host, Travis Smith, and today on the show we have Cliff Aaron of Drummerboyinfinity joining us. He is a drummer and concert producer who has multiple tributes that have come through Northwest Arkansas as well as throughout the state and the country. We have him on to talk about the Linkin Park Tribute that he has coming to George's on January 30th. Be sure to follow George's on all social media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at George's Majestic Lounge, as well as X at George's Majestic. And you can see the full concert calendar and purchase tickets for all of the shows at georgeslive.com. Let's go ahead and dive into it. I got to talk to Cliff here. I believe it's been almost 3 years or so since we did the last podcast, so looking forward to getting more podcasts out with video, talking to folks that are going to be coming up to George's as well as other people within the Northwest Arkansas music scene. So here is Cliff Aaron, Drummerboyinfinity on the George's Live podcast. All right, we're here on the George's Live podcast, and I'm here with Cliff Aaron, Drummerboyinfinity, back again. What's up, man? How are you?
What's up, my brother? How's it going?
Good, man. It's good to have you back on the show. Joining me virtually here. Where are you at right now?
New York City, Brooklyn.
Nice. So that's something we'll dive into. I believe maybe the last time we chatted, I wasn't sure if you were just moving there or what the case is. I'd have to go back and listen to the podcast episode. But
Yeah.
let's kind of dive into, let's jump in. We're going to talk about your show coming up with Linkin Park here in a little bit, and I want to touch on some other projects you've got going on as well. But
Very cool.
tell me about the move to New York and kind of what that was been like, and give the folks, if they don't know a lot about your background, kind of tell us who Drummerboyinfinity is and your move there.
Yeah, so right now I'm at like year 12 on music producing. I've been touring on drums way before then. Since 1999, I've been touring on drums for various artists. So they call me the chameleon drummer because I've toured with Matt Stale, country artist. I've hit the road with Casey Donahue Band out of Texas, country artist, Outlaw Nation, rock reggae band, and you name it. So I've done all of those, and and of course gospel music at the beginning too. So I've melted into all of those genres. And as I was on tour, I always saw bands that opened for our bands. And a few of them were tribute bands. And so I was like, oh man, this is pretty cool. This is, something cool to watch. And then when I watched them, I was so disappointed. And some of the production and some of the performances, just the execution of the performances. And I was like, oh my God. Arkansas has so much talent. Per capita, I think it has the best talent. I'm talking about all of Arkansas, not just like Little Rock. And Fayetteville has some great talent as well. And so I was like, man, I could put some crews together and do a much better job than what these fools are doing. And I just made up in my mind when I got back, that's what I was going to do. And so what I did is just got together with some crews, some really good stable musicians, some good pocket musicians to say, okay, look, this is what I'm going to do. Y'all down for it? So I was like, of course we're down for it. And without going into too much, the rest is kind of history. I mean, we kind of lock in everything almost on a military style when it comes to note for note execution of shows, and it's worked very, very well for us.
I think a lot of times it's a lot of great musicians, that's something they don't want to do is the logistics, the booking of the shows. A lot of them just want to show up and be told when to play and give them a little bit of, so that's awesome that not only have you done that, but also seeing the importance, especially with tributes. People are, it's not like a cover band where you don't know what they're going to play. They're paying more of a ticket and they're showing up with a certain expectation that might be close to as they possibly can get, on par with the actual national act that you're paying tribute to. So that's awesome that you're able to notice that and apply that to it, but also carry the water of putting the things together.
Yeah, exactly, because a lot of people don't get that. That's a great point. Tribute bands and cover bands are two different things. Because cover band, they're pretty much just coming and playing what they want to play. Their own version of what this is, whereas a tribute, you're trying to give them the experience of being in the building with whoever you're tributing, whether it be a past or even now people are doing present company that's still alive and kicking it or touring or whatever. They're doing tributes to them. I mean, and you even seeing now where DJs are doing tributes to like Taylor Swift. Like, I mean, and packing the room. Just
Oh,
a
it's
DJ.
huge. That's a thing right there.
That's the thing, just playing her music, and it's crazy. But the thing is, some people can't afford to go to a Taylor Swift concert, and that's the next best thing. Or, and like in our cases, just say like with Linkin Park and even our Freddie Mercury tribute, we try to give the people the experience of being right there with them, note for note, and the experience of having like Freddie in the building or Chester Bedingfield in the building, you know what I mean? And so I'm really proud of that. Now, some of our tributes, we don't do that, like with Prince, we don't do like a guy, you know what I'm saying? And that's only because I remember Prince really didn't like a tribute per se where somebody's dressing up like him and acting like him because he thought that just kind of made fun of his artistry. So in honor of him and, the way he thought, that's the reason why when we come with the Prince tribute, we don't come with a guy. We come with several badass people, that can really, really, really sing and can hold a whole show by themselves. But we have like 5 artists that come together to make that show happen. And it's always a great show.
That's obviously Prince's music is timeless, but you're paying homage to the music of Prince as opposed to Prince, the artist himself.
Right.
So, but you do have the Freddie Mercury tribute, which, my girlfriend's kid is obsessed with Queen right now. And so we're planning on coming down to the hall in Little Rock at the end of January for that show.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I got you there.
So,
I got you, no doubt. I got
and
you.
then also there's the Linkin Park tribute that's coming here to George's.
Yes.
And this is, a few of your projects, like you said, there's a tribute to Prince, but then there's a tribute to Freddie Mercury, and then the tribute to Chester. Kind of talk about, you've got a great band there with a bunch of great players spread out all over Arkansas, but talk about your Chester that you have.
So my Chester, I'm gonna say it like this, and I've had a couple of friends to see a couple of videos because we came to Rogers not too long ago and absolutely smashed that one. But my lead singer, as you know, it's a challenge to sing like Chester at all. But he's so on point. He sounds so much like Chester that my guy Raheem here, he's actually done a lot of work for some big, big, big pop artists. And as soon as he heard him on video, he said, "Brother, I'm trying to tell you right now." Because Linkin Park is on tour right now with their new lead vocalist, female vocalist, and she's cool, but it's not Linkin Park. It's not the Chester sound, of course. She does her own thing, and I'll give her props for that. But as soon as he heard the video of my guy Will, he said, "Bruh, if Linkin Park's management ever hears you guys, they're stealing him. They're gonna sign him like right away because he sounds so much like him." And I remember a few years ago we did the Cabot Festival in Arkansas, and it was so many young people there. I didn't even understand that kids that young, 12, 13, 14-year-olds, listen to Linkin Park still. And they were there, man, and they were crying because he sounded so much like Chester. They was like, "Oh my God, he sounds just like Chester." And it's just like tears coming down their face. I couldn't even believe how much people that young really still listen to Linkin Park. But I was really happy that it was touching them and it touched the right chord, because as a promoter and as a producer of a show like that, that's the reaction that you want, because you want them to have the experience of Chester's here. This is the spirit of Chester here, not only the mannerism stuff, but this dude actually sounds like him, and that is the key. That's the key factor.
It was really wild when I filmed that show at Rev Room in Little Rock with my buddy. Like when you're filming a show and it's a band you haven't seen, you're like, okay, are they going to move around a lot? What's it like? You're not really thinking about the audio as much because somebody else is recording it. You're like, okay, I'll get it at the end. But whenever he started singing, we were both like, what?
Yeah.
The band was super tight with Too Tall on drums and everything. So I had friends that I knew would be solid, but when he started singing, I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, that dude is ridiculous. Will is ridiculous, man. He I have to tell you, man, like, and he's so laid back. and he's so humble. But the guy can blow. Not only just singing like that, he can sing a lot of other stuff. But you can look forward to him being on some original stuff pretty soon too, along with a lot of the tributes that we do. It's starting to come into fruition now. Our goals is not just to do a bunch of tribute shows and like make money and stuff like this. It's not about that. It's a bigger picture, and that is to springboard these tributes to original music. Especially, even like Freddie Mercury. Our guy Randall Shreve does that, and he has some great original material out there. But we want to springboard him into a bigger audience, and especially now that I'm here in New York, his style goes so good here in New York, man. Like his whole flavor, his whole everything. And so I know we're planning to book it here too, Freddie Mercury here in New York pretty soon. So that's the goal. But back to Linkin Park, Will is about to blow everybody that's never heard him out the water. And if people have heard him before, they know what's about to happen. Like seriously, it's about to be crazy.
What's it been like taking? You've taken some of these bands out of the Arkansas market. You had some shows here. What has the response been as you take these tributes to different areas throughout the United States?
Well, it's amazing how closed off. I'm not saying closed-minded, but at the same time, people are just shocked at the level of talent that we have here. Like last year, we took the Prince tribute over to Indianapolis. The Indiana Pacers had a whole big gathering in Indianapolis, and it's this place that we do almost yearly called Daniel's Vineyard. We've done a Tom Petty tribute there, we've done Freddie Mercury there, and we took Prince there. And just as an example, there and even like Nashville and Kansas, they're like, oh my God, y'all from where? And I tell them, the majority of these cats are from Arkansas, and it's just like, we didn't know Arkansas has that kind of talent, and nobody does until they come here, and then they're like, "Holy crap! What? Yeah, Arkansas has."
I like dedicated like 3/4 of my life to Arkansas talent. That's like to me, it's like something to get behind because there's so much involved with it, and so much. There's a lot of links to greater industry that isn't here as well that a lot of people might not recognize.
Exactly.
So tell me about what prompted the move to New York.
Short answer is opportunity. Several opportunities that's come my way, and it all has to do. Well, not all of it. Some of it has to do with my other company, which is a construction company, but music here, connecting with some prominent tour managers and producers here prompted the move really quick because, like I said, as soon as I got here, I was already connected anyways with a lot of producers and promoters and club owners here that, live band venue owners here that's extremely interested. And the one thing I didn't know is that as far as like production tribute shows like what I'm doing, that's not here in New York like that. That's a rarity to find.
You would think there'd be a lot.
You would think that, but what's in New York is 90% new artists trying to make it on original stuff. That's it. The other 10% are just all cover bands. That's it, and they're just doing it their own way. And props to them. Hey, you getting paid or whatever. But all the cover bands that I hear here, Arkansas. They're not teaching Arkansas. They wouldn't teach Arkansas artists a thing because it's so many bands in Arkansas that would just come here and just would take over New York. I promise you, from what I've heard. And that's not a knock on New York artists. It's just that it's a different feel of Arkansas artists. Fayetteville, Little Rock, Pine Bluff, you name it. I mean, these cats. It's a different feel. It's a different passion when they take the stage. And sometimes here in New York, you get the New York mentality where y'all come here to hear me to play because I am the best, and it's just in their mind already that they think that. Where if that same band comes to Little Rock, we'll be like, okay, whatever, man. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's almost like a different energy from the source of what they're doing, almost like when they're putting it together with a lot more, focus and care, if you will.
Exactly. And I just, I just found out. I mean, I'm finding out every day new stuff about the loopholes around in New York and everything like that. Which now, I've just been blessed to be connected with the right people, where there's no real loopholes for me anymore. 2026 is about to be extremely busy.
You're the horse.
I'm trying.
So so what's it like as a musician and as a music fan moving to New York with a hotbed of awesome musicians, venues going every night with like the best in the world popping in and playing on a Wednesday somewhere for $15 or something like that? What's it been like on that front?
That was a shock to me. So a lot of people think, oh, okay, you playing in New York, but you making all that money. New York musicians don't get paid here. They don't. They don't get paid like they do in the South, because in the South, these venues, they pay you really well, because there's not a huge number of musicians and artists that are just killing it. But here in New York, you have everybody that's killing it and that's on major tours already making good money. They coming back home on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off their tour, and they're just jamming at some place or something like that. And they're not getting paid that much, but it's just playing in New York. Because every gig in New York, I don't care if you're getting paid $1, is an opportunity to be in front of somebody. You don't know who's in the audience. Because like the other night I played for Lala Suarez at this little club in Harlem. And it was about like 80 people there, but it only holds like 100 people. It's a small venue under the ground, right? But a lot of people know it. Man, it was two producers from Saturday Night Live there, just hanging out.
Holy moly.
Like it was nothing. And so I ended up, of course, exchanging information and stuff like that. And then this other lady that was there, she's over this new artist movement that's in Harlem and Brooklyn, and she's connected with City Winery in New York, which is huge, and immediately connected me with them. Like, man, whatever you're doing, we need to be about that. And it's not, I wasn't even promoting Drummerboyinfinity. I was just a drummer for this lady. And she just liked the way I was playing that night. And she said, what else do you do? And I said, oh, since you asked, and then you just break out your cards or, and everything like that. And you exchange information. And that's what it's all about. You have to know how to network here, and don't be scared to network here. And you have to be aggressive with your networking, because everybody's trying to network. Everybody even cats that's already made it and that's living here are still networking because of the next opportunity that could be way bigger than what they're doing now. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
What advice would you give an artist that is maybe like, they're maybe 20, 21 years old? Whether they are a side man or a front man or a front woman or whatever, looking to be in whether an original or cover band project, but to expand their horizons of their artistry, how important is it to go to a bigger city and get like a different view of what other people are doing to kind of come back,
Yeah. So it's important because, and I hate to say this, but it's the truth. Your home will never appreciate you until you make it. That's number one. Number two, there's billions of people in the world. And just because those little million people in your city isn't digging or buying your material doesn't mean everybody in New York wouldn't buy it in a hot second, because they've never heard you before. They've never heard your voice. They never heard your sound. So if you're out here trying to do it and you let a few friends hear your stuff and you're like, now it's all on Spotify, it's on this, and you can check it out and nobody's really buying it, get out and take that music somewhere else. Take it to another city and perform it. You don't know who's going to hear it and like, oh my God, who is this? And you don't know what city you're going to that's going to be, your big break. And that's all you need is one person to hear you. So my advice is to, do your thing, make your home your home. Make sure people know that you're there, but expand, branch out, invest in your own self to get out of wherever you at. Even if now I'll say this is some advice. I'm gonna throw this nugget at everybody for free. Invest in yourself. And what I mean by that is, I don't care if you go online. Just say if you want to play somewhere in New York, right? Well, I'm here now, but if I wasn't here and you didn't know anybody, Google live band venues in New York or Chicago or Nashville, okay? Google them, go to their website, go to contacts, and look up where it says booking. Copy and paste where it says booking, whoever that is, and you get a one page for your artistry of whatever you're doing, a clip of what you're doing, It's just like an EPK, but now it's more direct. You email them and say, hey, this is what we do. This is me or whatever. And we would love to come to your venue. Even if it costs you to book the place, get it if you can afford it. Like, I've done that before myself just to get into a venue. Where I said, okay, it's going to be hard to get into this venue because it's so famous already. Okay, well, it costs $3,000 to book the place. Here's your $3,000. Let's put tickets on sale. You know what I'm saying?
think
And then
that
what you do, and then once you do that, you do whatever you gotta do to market it. I don't care if it's flyers. I don't care if it's boosting on Facebook. You make your video about your show coming to wherever it is, and you market yourself. You got to believe in yourself enough to do that, and don't be lazy.
that's it's what it is. I learned a lot when I jumped into, like, I'd managed businesses before, but like owning my own business, you start to see that there is cost from day one. Like, to get your license costs like money. It costs as much as like a photographer or videographer to follow you around for a day. So a lot of times I'll talk to an artist and they're like, "Well, I budget about $500 to $750 a month for creating content." The first thing I think is this person's probably going to go a lot further than the average person because they already got a spotlight and they just need to do things within the spotlight to put themselves out there. And it's
Correct.
just so important to just have to look at your business or look at your artistry as a business, because if you were to blow up and you have a hit, like you have something take off on TikTok, like what do you have built for you to, sustain a career, to do it again, go play shows? Do you have a marketing engine to promote shows, to go to the things? Do you have a band that can perform these songs? A lot of people don't. When they blow up on TikTok, they're just like, haven't played maybe a show before.
Exactly. And TikTok is pulling the cover off a lot of these so-called artists because when you show up at the show, then they're like, "What the hell is this? What this is what, this isn't what we expected at all." A couple of artists I saw like that, and a couple of I'm not going to name the names. Hip hop artists, female hip hop artists, did the same thing. They blew up on TikTok, was hot on X and everything. Came here to New York. I posted it too, actually, on one of my stories a few months ago. She was hot. It was packed. I'm talking sold out and everything. And in New York, my God, she came here after the first song. They were booing. They was like booing her so hard. She kept. I give her credit. She kept going, but it sounded like trash, bro. And I hated it, man. But hey, it is what it is. You got to come correct. Like, even these people now, and we can get into this probably on another podcast if you want. But now people are starting to create new songs. I mean, full songs. Done, produced everything, all AI, and they're selling them. Well, and they're selling them, or what they're doing is, getting with some artists and recreating what the AI created, because they got to do it live. Because you can't just take a AI induced thing and just push play at a show and like, okay, well, who's out there? You know what I'm saying? Unless you're gonna have some hologram. I mean, you're not in China or Japan where that's going over really well. America's not taking it. They got to see somebody up there singing it. It's got to be kicking in it, and it's got to be sounding somewhat like whatever you're producing in studio or on TikTok or whatever. So it's up to you to do the work.
Yeah, you're gonna, at some point, if you make fans, you're gonna have to have an ongoing communication and a relationship with your fans. And whenever you have built out of AI, when you've built something around your artistry that's not real, it's gonna be hard to represent that whenever you're talking to a fan, and then they're like, "What inspires you to write this?" And you're like,
Yeah, yeah. Because I've heard
I'd run out of questions on podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. And I've heard that, and I've been in the studio recording for people before, and they'll tell me, of course, you pocket everything with the click track, and then they say, hey, just they'll have me do different feels like 8 different times, right? Just to see how different styles is. Play it like this, go fast around the drums on this one and blah blah blah. And so when they get something they like, they're like, okay, now how our drummer has to recreate this on the stage, right? I'm like, well, yeah, you asking me to do this. But that's the thing. Whatever you're putting on studio, whatever you're putting out there, you have to recreate on stage, or you'll get booed, or that you won't have your fan base long, or just enhance even that. if you're really good, enhance whatever that you're putting out there. And your fan base will grow exponentially. Like Billie Eilish, for instance, she's the one. Like right now, when she recreates, her stuff is really, really, really good live. She's one of those artists, if nobody was playing and she was just singing by herself a cappella, kill it.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody doesn't have that artistry. Some people need all of the instruments and all the bells and whistles to make them sound good. And that goes back to the tribute shows. I've seen tribute shows before, the same ones that we're doing. And of course, I study everybody to see where we're lacking versus everybody else that's making a lot of money doing this. And a lot of them is just bells and whistles. They're not good singers. They're not good musicians. They just look the part. You know what I mean? They're acting the part.
Mm-hmm.
But and to me, that's the part that separates us from everybody. On a lot.
Providing the experience.
Yeah,
and not just like smoke and mirrors, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So when people go to a Drummerboyinfinity show, what can they expect?
No matter what the show, you're gonna leave there with the experience that, hey, this is better than what I thought it was gonna be. That's number one. Whatever your expectations are, even if you've seen one show before, we always tweak it a little bit. So it's gonna be a little bit different in some kind of aspect, but expect it to be way more than you thought. The price is always going to be so affordable that, most people, I always ask, and sometimes my correspondent, Anna Brazil, she'll go around with a microphone, or she'll get interviews after the show or during the show and say, hey, what do you like about the show? What didn't you like about the show? And we want people to be honest, like tell us what you don't like about the show so we can fix it, or we can enhance on that, what you did like. And most people are like, man, I would have paid double for this. I would have paid triple for this. Because, like with Linkin Park, right? So people that's usually hearing it is like, man, this show is worth at least $100. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's not our goal. Our goal is to pack the house and bring live music experience to everybody. And then, we're bringing up our artists from this. So when you come to the show, just expect not the unexpected, but expect more than what you think.
You've played a lot of shows at George's now, playing in Fayetteville and stuff. Kind of talk about what that experience has been like.
So George's, to me, is one of the more historic places, and Brian and the crew has been so good to us every time we've been there. And Dixon Street itself is so, it's so vibrant almost every time we come, that it's not that you have a built-in audience, but George's is like anything that's on George's, people are looking at it, on the mezzanine, on the billboards, just like, oh my God, okay, who's there tonight? And they're gonna show up. Most of the time, they're gonna be there. Of course, you have to promote it because so much now is going on in Fayetteville, the new little clubs being built and stuff like that. So you have a little competition there, but experience-wise, George's has always been a vibe. Always, like whoever's in there is a vibe, because they bought that ticket to come to watch specifically whatever you're doing. And so that is always a real cool thing. And George's reminds me of this place in Nashville called the Exit Inn. Mm-hmm. The Exit Inn in Nashville, that vibe is the same almost to me. Because
can you hear that train going by out there? That's the George's train going by, but I'm not even close to George's. The train is everywhere. Can you hear it?
Mm-mm.
All right,
a
good.
little bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but yeah, so I hear it now.
You start talking about George's and the train goes off. It's wild.
Yeah, good. Perfect time.
So we got the show. January 30th is the show at George's. You get tickets at George's Live. We'll throw a link up in the description. Is there anything else you want to add before we go?
Well, we're having a new crew. I've never heard them before. I've heard their videos, of course. Hierarchies that's performing. They're opening the show, and I really like their vibe, man. I really like the lead singer can sing. She has a little smoky rock thing going on.
Oh yeah, totally.
So,
They're awesome.
I was like, okay, I like this crew. Let's let them open up for us, and then hopefully, some of their artists, some of their fan base can come and check out what we're about to throw down. And we just want everybody to come out and have a good time. And treat this almost like a pep rally for the Hogs, man, because the Hogs, because Kentucky's coming the next night. They're coming hard, and we want Calipari.
We need it.
Yeah, we need to make sure everybody's voice is heard that night. So, we're treating it like a pep rally. We're not going to try to be in there too late, so everybody can get up and get ready for the game the next day. But we're going to come in there that night and storm that place. We want to pack the place. We want to put about 500 or 600 people in there.
Well, dude, thank you for coming on. It's always good to catch up with you and chat, man. I'm a big fan of the things you do, and I would tell people to go to your website, but they can read your shirt, drummerboyinfinity.com.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you're listening to this, go to drummerboyinfinity.com.
Definitely, because we got a lot more coming up. Some new tributes coming too that we're going to bring to Georgia's that people hadn't heard of, like the Jeff Buckley tribute. And
nice.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. And a couple of more brand new ones that we're going to bring out. And hopefully we're going to bring the Prince tribute back there. It's been a few years since we've been there with that. So hopefully we're bringing that back there soon. We'll try to get that booked pretty soon as well. But January 30th, we're coming to pack that house out, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cliff. Thanks for coming on, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
That was Drummerboyinfinity, Cliff Aaron on the Georgia's Live podcast. I am your host, Travis Smith. Be sure to follow us on all social media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Georgia's Majestic Lounge, and on X at Georgia's Majestic. And you can see the full calendar as well as purchase all shows. Well, I guess you could purchase all the shows, but you could see all the shows and purchase tickets for all the shows if you want at georgiaslive.com.